What's up, Kyle?
What's up, Scott?
This is going to be a little bit of a letdown card, but there still should be some good fights this weekend for the Korean zombie fight.
Yeah, UFC Vegas 29. Yeah, it is a little bit of a letdown. But I think it's a card that has a lot of good betting spots. We tend to do better on cards like this anyways. So I think even though it's not the name brands that we all know,
right?
I think there's a lot of good spots, and we'll take advantage of it.
Yeah, I can already see a lot of juicy lines that can be easily exploited.
Yeah, is that extra noise coming from me or you?
How's that?
I don't know, I'm hearing a lot of background noise.
Well, I had the fan going before.
Oh.
That'll probably do it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's get right into the first fight.
All right. First fight: Laura Procopio versus Casey O'Neill. This is a really good fight. They're both good, both decently new to the UFC. Casey O'Neill only has one fight. Laura Procopio has two. Laura Procopio split 1-1 in the UFC, but she just had a very dominant win over a good fighter in Molly McCann, the Meatball. Casey O'Neill, her debut couldn't have gone any better against Shayna Dobson. She got 4 takedowns and won in the second round by TKO. It's kind of two prospects. Not that Procopio is all that young, but she's still young in her career. I am leaning towards Casey O'Neill. I believe she is the dog, a slight dog, in this fight. But if I had to pick a side, I'll go Casey O'Neill. I'll go the youth, and I think she's going to be a little bit more violent than Procopio.
Yeah. Casey O'Neill right now sitting at plus 135.
Yeah, slight dog. Slight dog.
That minus 165 that Laura Procopio is sitting at, those minus 165s tend to be trappy.
The old trap lines.
Trap line, big time. There's a lot of them on here.
Yeah, there are. This is like I said, it's all close fights and kind of no names. And this is when the bookies are not as up on it as we are. So I really do feel like this is where the advantage lies in MMA is on cards like this.
Yep. Yeah, we usually crush these.
Yeah. Next fight is Joaquin Silva and Rick Glenn. This is an interesting fight. Both fighters are coming off losses. Silva lost to Nasrat Haqparast, who is awesome, so I'm really not counting that too much against him. And Rick Glenn is coming off a loss. It was like 2 years ago. He hasn't fought in a long time against Kevin Aguilar, who did not impress in the fight before that. I think Joaquin Silva is the play here for sure. Rick Glenn, to me, is not UFC caliber. If you look at his record, he lost to Aguilar, who did not look good in his last fight. He hasn't fought in a long time, which raises red flags. He beat Bermudez, but barely. He beat Miles Jury, no longer with the company.
Yeah.
He actually lost to Miles Jury. He beat Gavin Tucker, which that was a long time ago now. He beat Felipe Nover, not a good win. And he lost to Evan Dunham. Not a great record. And then you have Joaquin Silva. He lost to Nasrat by TKO in the second round, but Nasrat's really good. He beat Joseph Gordon. He beat Vince Pichel. He lost to Vince Pichel, but decently close decision. And Vince Pichel's pretty good too. I think Joaquin Silva will be the more powerful guy. I do want to see what they look like at weigh-ins. But I think Joaquin Silva's the side, and I'm willing to place a bet on him.
I like it. Like it at minus 125 too.
Yeah.
For sure.
This next fight is a middling heavyweight fight.
Ooh, yeah.
In Josh Parisian versus, Roque Martinez, I believe.
Yeah, out of Guam.
Yeah. So
looks like he had bariatric surgery. He's got all that weird skin. So
I don't know if you know much about these guys, Scott, but they're both coming off really, really bad losses. Roque Martinez lost to Dontel Mays in his last fight.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he's one of the worst fighters in the UFC. And Josh Parisian lost to maybe the worst fighter in the UFC in Parker Porter.
Oh, why is this on here?
I don't know. The only thing about this fight is I love it. I love the line. I think Josh Parisian wins this easily.
Yeah.
If you watch the fight against Parker Porter, Parisian wins the first round real easy and gasses out.
Right.
Roque Martinez, on the other hand, fought Dontel Mays, who sucks, and he really struggled with the range. Because Dontel Mays was the bigger man. Roque Martinez is kind of like a pit bull. He's a tiny guy. Well, Josh Parisian has a 7-inch reach advantage in this fight.
Right.
So I really like Josh Parisian here. I also have been stalking him on Instagram, as always, and it looks like he is taking his conditioning a little bit more serious.
That's good. It didn't look like he could have been taking it any less seriously.
That's very true. That's very true. But I do think he wins this fight, and I'm willing to bet this one too.
Okay. I like it. I like Parisian. Parisian's kind of built like I was when I was 265. Hopefully he's in better shape.
Right. Next fight, actually a good fight. So we got the first... Well, actually, the women's fight is pretty decent too. But the first real legit fight is Chaos Williams versus Matthew Semmelberger. Everybody knows Chaos for his knockouts of Morono and Razak Al-Hassan. He just lost to Michelle Pereira. Michelle Pereira is enormous and does goofy things.
Yeah.
And it was a close fight too. It really was. But Chaos, he always has that power. And then Matthew Semmelberger, he has 2 fights in the UFC, 2 easy wins. He beat Carlton Minus, and he beat Jason Witt. Witt sucks, one of the worst fighters in the UFC, but Matthew Semmelberger made him look like he's one of the worst. So he didn't disappoint in a fight that he should win, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Semmelberger comes forward constantly. I believe he played professional football. Not 100% on that, but I think he did. He also has huge power. One of these guys is going down. It's just a matter of who you like. I'm leaning Semmelberger, but this is one I don't want to bet.
Yeah, I lean Semmelberger as well.
It is a DraftKings must play though.
Yeah, I'm looking at pricing right now.
It's a must play.
I bet you he's pretty cheap.
I bet you they're evenly priced. No. Chaos is 8,900 and Semmelberger 7,300. So
yeah.
So you get some value. Cheap. You get some value there on DraftKings with that one. Next fight up, Jandiroba versus Murata. This is a good fight. Jandiroba, I don't know if you know much about her, but her ground game is sick.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of her fights.
She most recently lost to Mackenzie Dern,
she's one of the best.
Yeah, and Jandiroba pulled guard in that fight against one of the best jiu-jitsu girls out there, who's been subbing everyone.
That's crazy.
Went to decision. So she also has submission wins over Felice Herrig. That's a good win. And she went to decision with Carla Esparza in a close fight. She's a really good fighter. And then we have Kanako Murata, who everyone seems to be really, really high on. She beat Ronda Marcos, kind of beat her up pretty good. Used a lot of takedowns in that fight. The only problem I have with that is she's going to the ground with Jandiroba, and I'm smelling armbar from guard.
Yep.
Female finish.
Arm bars are in.
That's
armbar, or she's gonna sneak in a rear naked, guaranteed.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
One of those two. They work every time.
Kind of like in the sub prop. I haven't looked at those odds. They're probably not out yet. This is a shittier card, and they wait a long time for UFC lines. And actually, DraftKings pricing just dropped probably like 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago now. So even those weren't up for a long time.
Jandiroba is 8,400, and I like it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because she's going to finish.
Armbar from guard.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Maybe not. I'm sure that we're not the only one with that prediction.
Right. Right.
Next fight, we have a weird fight. Alexa Kamer versus Nikolai Negamranu. I'm not even sure how you say his last name. I'll just go with Nikolai. Nikolai's coming off a loss to Safarov, who's a good fighter. Didn't make Nikolai look all that good. One takeaway was that Nikolai throws bombs. He just tries to wing haymakers. That's about all he's got. Alexa Kamer beat Justin Ledet, who sucks, in his UFC debut, and he lost to William Knight, who, in my opinion, sucks as well.
Right.
Kamer is a decent favorite. I think he's minus 260.
240 right now.
240. So I wouldn't touch that. I do think he wins. He'll be the faster guy. But
kind of expensive in DraftKings, dude. 9,300.
Yeah. I'm not willing to touch that.
Yeah. I think it's a good stay away.
That's not a great fight.
Maybe throw him in the parlay.
So we took the first three fights, then we kind of stayed away.
Right.
From the next couple, but there's more spots I really like on the front, including the lock of the night, which is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
To start off the main card, we have Matt the Immortal Brown.
The Immortal.
Versus Diego Lima. If you've been following Miller Locks for a while, you know Matt Brown is our guy. What do you think about this one, Scott?
I think it is two guys who are probably a little bit past their prime.
Yep.
And Matt Brown is definitely past his prime, but he still got it.
And Diego Lima never found his prime.
Right.
But yeah, they're two guys who are going to go out there and throw
bombs.
Matt Brown is the guy that's going to fucking die in the cage before he retires.
Yeah. 40 years old.
And Brown is a decent dog, and as a dog, I like him. If he was favored, I would not.
Right.
But Matt the Immortal Brown as a dog, I'm taking.
I think Matt Brown gets a split decision in this one.
I think he gets a win here too.
Yeah.
Diego Lima's not very good. He's just not. Yeah. He went on a streak where he had 1, 2, 3, 4 losses right in a row, followed by 3 wins, not over any good names. Matt Brown has fought top competition his entire career.
For the last 20 years.
Yeah. I think Matt Brown is the play in a fight that is risky.
Yeah. He did. Yeah, Diego Lima's last fight, he did get scraped by Bilal Muhammad.
Right.
So that was like his step up.
Yeah.
Although this is not necessarily a step up for him, but anyone with talent,
he
seems to lose to.
For sure, he's not his brother.
Right.
I think Matt Brown as a dog, especially as a dog, I like. And I like what you said by decision too. Matt Brown by decision.
He's got great cardio.
Yep, pretty good play there, I think.
And you're not going to knock him out.
No chance.
No, 0.
Unless you hit him in the body. He crumbles the body shot sometimes.
So,
Next fight, Wellington Turman, Bruno Silva. There are 2 Bruno Silvas in the UFC. Don't get them confused. This one has never fought in the UFC before. So if you were thinking the other Bruno Silva, think again. Because you got me.
Yeah. I was like, Bruno Silva's only minus 140
right.
against someone I've never heard of before.
Wellington Turman fought Anthony Sanchez in his last fight. Andrew Sanchez, sorry. I'm actually a fan of Andrew Sanchez. A lot of people don't like him. But one thing Andrew Sanchez doesn't have is power, and Wellington Turman got knocked out by him.
Yeah.
Not looking good against a power puncher in Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, like I said, has never fought in the UFC, but he throws freaking bombs. If you watch some of his fights on the regional scene, his record's filled with knockouts. That's what he does. I don't think Wellington Turman has much of a chance in this fight. Really don't. And like you said, minus 140 is way worth it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So I like it. Wellington Turman, someone who shouldn't be in the UFC. Straight up. Get him out. Time to move on.
Yeah.
Next fight, Julian Erosa versus Choi Sung-woo. This is a good fight. Because Julian Erosa beat Nate Landwehr in his last fight, and I was shocked by that. I was all over Nate, and Julian Erosa KO'd him in the first round. He also beat Sean Woodson by submission in the third round. Before that, in a back-and-forth fight, Julian Erosa's high output. He has some power. He has subs. He also has been knocked out a lot of times. And he has some bad knockout losses, like to Satoshi Ishihara, who is terrible. Julio Arce, who's good, but not necessarily a knockout guy. And he's fighting a guy in Sung-woo Choi who hits pretty hard.
Yeah. These guys are both so huge for featherweight, dude.
Yes. They're big
both
boys.
over 6 feet.
Sung-woo Choi just picked up a win over our boy, Yusuf Zalal. My initial thought when this came out was Julian Erosa, like right away.
Yeah.
More I look at it, the more it's a coin toss fight. I still probably will pick Julian Erosa. I'll definitely have him in DraftKings more than Choi Sung-woo, just because I think he'll score more in a win if he wins. Got to kind of play that game theory a little bit. You have any thoughts on this one, Scott?
No, I think you covered everything.
I mean, Julian Erosa really impressed me against Nate Landwehr because I was high on him.
Yeah, for sure.
Next fight, guys we know.
Thank God.
Marlon Vera versus Davey Grant. You got anything on this one, Scott?
Marlon Vera is a freaking beast at 135, man.
Cheeto.
I love this guy so much. Yeah, Cheeto Vera.
I mean,
what else? Yeah. Let's see.
He's Sean O'Malley.
Yeah. We had him on against Sean O'Malley.
We sure did.
That was a while ago. That was like when I first heard about this Ecuadorian freak. And I've been on him ever since. He did lose to Jose Aldo by decision.
Right.
But Jose Aldo is one of the best guys to ever fight.
Yeah, and his only other loss I could think of is Song Yadong.
Song Yadong, yeah.
Really good, too.
Lost a decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Marlon Vera is a pretty good favorite as well. Davey Grant is
Davey.
He's kind of a middling fighter. He has wins and losses alternating. He is on a 3-fight win streak, which got him this fight against Cheeto. Even though Cheeto's coming off a loss. Davey Grant's wins aren't over anyone good. Marlon Vera's losses are only to the best.
Yeah, I think they set this up for Cheeto Vera to kind of get right.
Agreed.
Before he fights someone real after this.
Totally agree. It's going to be a scrap. Cheeto Vera, you know how he fights.
Right.
It's the only way he knows how to fight. Cheeto all day.
All day.
Next fight, Old Man Olynyk versus Sergey Spivak. This is my lock of the night. It's only Sergey's only minus 225 when I saw it. Grab it now.
Yeah. Gobble it up.
Sergey Spivak is going to win by knockout. I'll be taking the prop as well. Sergey Spivak is fucking huge. He's huge. He hits hard. His only recent loss is to Tybura. He also lost to Walt Harris, but he lost the only way you can lose to Walt Harris, and it's by knockout in the first round.
Immediate knockout, yeah.
Right. Besides that, he has great wins over Carlos Felipe, who we saw just win this week, and he just knocked out Vandera. He also beat Tai Tuivasa by sub. This guy is good, and he's been utilizing takedowns, which I know you don't want to go to the ground with Alexei, because that's his only path to victory is Ezekiel choke, basically.
Yeah.
I see this being a knockout. Alexei's what? He's 50 now? How old is he? 40
let's
something.
See.
He's 40 something.
Oh, 43.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Old man Alexei. He even has the old man body now.
Yeah. And he's kind of standing in a way in his picture to like hide some of it.
Right.
He's almost doing like the chubby girl, like put her hand over her belly.
Yeah. Ridiculous. But yeah, that's the lock of the night. Sergey Spivak.
Yeah.
Drop the hammer on it.
And Spivak's last loss was to Marcin Tybura, who could be a legit title contender.
I mean, what is he? One fight away from a title fight at this point? I mean, how do you deny him? He just keeps winning.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where we're like, oh, he's not that good. Like we've been saying that for the last 10 fights, he's won like 10 in a row.
Right, I know.
Because you look at him fight, and he's like not like he's just not a physical specimen like Ngannou.
Right.
So you're like, oh, this guy again.
And you know what about him too? You don't realize it till you see him next to people. He's massive.
Yeah.
Tybura's huge.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Sergey Spivak KO.
Absolutely.
And that takes
Absolutely
us to the main event. Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie versus Dan Ige. I'll let you take this one first, Scott. See if we differ.
I like Ige.
I do too. Shock.
Quantum entanglement.
But I am torn though.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reason I'm torn is because I like the Korean Zombie so much.
Me too. Me too, but I just think Ige is going to win.
He looked so good against Frankie Edgar and Moricano that, man, and he looked off against Ortega. When he's on, he is one of the best in the world. Dan Ige, though, hits really hard.
Yeah. Last loss was to Calvin Cater last year.
And before that,
he
had, 7 fights in a row he won?
Right.
He just kicked the shit out of Gavin Tucker.
Yeah.
I think Dan Ige knocks Chan Sung Jung out, unfortunately.
Yeah. I do love the guy, though.
Yeah. And I would be so happy if he won, but Dan Ige is a beast. And the Korean Zombie style just doesn't translate into today's MMA as well as you would like.
Yeah.
But hey, if the Zombie comes back for a freaking huge win, everybody wins.
Yeah.
But I will be on Ige. I'll be taking him DraftKings for sure. I'll probably look at the knockout prop, because I think he knocks him out. Probably with a straight punch. Just a straight punch.
hang on here. So Dan Ige is $200 cheaper than the Korean Zombie.
Yeah, that's not really a surprise because everybody knows the Korean Zombie. Everybody loves him, so they're going to want to take him.
Yeah.
You're probably going to need this fight in DraftKings. It's going to be a high score.
Right.
Were you able to make a DraftKings lineup?
I am finishing it up right now.
I threw one together quickly today.
Yeah. 8K left. Definitely not taking Roque Martinez. Shit. This is a tough 8K. I might take Matt Brown, 72.
Do it.
Or, no, not Wellington Terman. Definitely not Davey Grant. Definitely not Alexei Olenek. Yeah, Matt Brown's my only option. 7,200.
There you go.
Locked in.
Lock it in.
Oh, yeah. We're in there. All right, so we have Jandaroba at 8,400, Semmelsberger at 7,300, Dan Ige at 8K, Sergei Spivak at 92, Cheeto Vera at 91, and Matt Brown at 7,200.
I like it.
I don't see how that loses.
Right. Nice cash lineup. Yeah. I made a more tournament style lineup. There's going to be two versions of this. It only takes one move to make the two lineups. I left $1,400 on the table. Start off Spivak, Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva is the one change. So if you want to do the alternate lineup, you take out Bruno Silva and you put in Cheeto Vera. Then we got Semmelsberger, Casey O'Neill, Dan Ige, and Julian Erosa. That leaves tons of money on the table. Hopefully that differs you from everybody else. And the idea behind that lineup was I just went with not necessarily everyone I thought would win the easiest, but if they did win, it'd probably be by knockout.
Low owned. Yep.
And by knockout. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the card.
Yep.
It's not the best card, but Korean Zombie's on it. He's trying. The UFC knows he can kind of carry a card. I'm actually surprised they haven't been pumping that a little bit more.
Yeah, he's a super popular guy. I think there's going to be a lot of public money on him for sure.
And he gets the Asian crowd in it as well.
Oh yeah, they need those Asian dollars.
Yeah. Other fight news I saw.
I also like how anytime they have an Asian headliner, there's always like 3 other Asians on the card.
Oh yeah, you got to
ham it up.
Oh yeah,
ham it up, Dana.
Play your crowd.
Yeah.
Also, the Tyson Fury Wilder face-off was today, and their press conference. Nothing really of note. Nothing of note.
Right.
Kind of boring. Fury didn't wear a shirt the whole time.
How fat's he looking these days?
Looking pretty fat. He's solid.
Yeah.
Like always. Yeah. But yeah.
All right. You want to end it there, and then we'll do our official bets on the website, and then you'll do a couple more in the shorter ones.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. See ya.
I'll talk to you later.